Okay, we're in. Hi, everyone. This is Dylan from the Facebook group Cruise Ships, Tips, Tricks, Reviews, and Planning for Canadians. Today, we're making a live recording with a Maurizio, who is my business development manager from Globus, family of brands, but more importantly, Avalon. So when we're talking about cruises, he's the guy I would contact to if I have any questions about Avalon cruises over in Europe and Asia. Maurizio, I know you can't see me on the screen because your PowerPoint's up, but welcome, and you're on air. How are you doing today?
Good. How you doing, Dylan? Thank you so much for having me. This is a great pleasure to be on your page here. As mentioned, we'll go over the product. We'll go over the land program as well as Avalon Waterways as kind of a wrap up to the segment. But I thought we'd kick it off with a quick video. It's just an intro video to our company, the history, what we're all about. And I guess without further ado, I'll play that.
It began with a dream, a small dream from a man on his rowboat on Lake Lugano. Antonio Montagazza had a vision of doing more than transporting goods across the lake. He dreamed of taking people across the globe. And in 1928, when he created Globus, Antonio exchanged his rowboat for motor coaches and initiated a ripple in travel that changed the world. By 1950, Globus expanded from Swiss day trips to Italian holidays, and with help from another entrepreneur, Werner Albeck, the company unveiled the world's first multi-country European touring vacations. In 1961, Globus created Cosmos for cost-conscious travelers, generating another ripple of change. And over the next few decades, Globus and Cosmos expanded to Africa, Australia, North America, and Asia. By 2004, the ripple from Antonio's rowboat led the company back to its roots, to make waves on the rivers of Europe with the launch of Avalon Waterways. In 2011, Avalon changed the tide of cruising again with the world's first suite ship, then a fleet of suite ships, all while elevating cruising. All the while, Globus continued to innovate touring, taking travelers beyond the globe's go-to landmarks to uncover undiscovered towns and coasts without crowds, leading wayfarers to extraordinary moments and the memories waiting for them. Today, the ripples Antonio's dream inspired are at the heart of everything we do. From one rowboat to 95 years of fulfilling travel dreams across the globe, the Globus family of brands continues to row toward awe and wonder. This is how we row. Feel the current.
Great.
Yeah, so I thought that'd be a fitting way to kick off the segment there. Great history, related to our brands. I often make the joke, if you haven't heard of us, it may be because we've only been around for 95 years. Began in 1928, again with a rowboat. So to be full circle back on the water with Avalon Waterways, we feel that that's a nice story to share with you all. Over the years, we've hit pretty much every continent. I was around when we were actually doing Antarctica as well with our coach touring, our guided vacations. Now we're currently only hitting 6 of the 7 continents. As you can see, over 512 vacations on that global scale. And again, as much as the focus is going to be on Avalon today, I thought we kind of be remiss if we didn't talk about our coach and the coach tour environment and what we do in respect to that.
Yep.
Dylan, we have many ways of travel with our company. So whether it be river cruising that we'll highlight today or the regular guided vacations on land, anywhere ranging from a classic tour, what we consider a classic tour would be those multi-country kind of effect. If you have clients that have maybe not traveled Europe and they're looking for a specific country or region, we like those classic tours because it gives them a sample of each of the countries, and then maybe they'll focus in on a particular region for their next experience. Cruising and touring has become more and more popular. I know we had a brief discussion before going on air where people want to take a tour and then maybe back to back it with a river cruise. or vice versa, do a cruise and then back to back with the land.
That's very popular right now. If you're gonna fly all the way over to Europe, why not, right?
Right. Yeah, it only makes sense. And, people are extending their holidays and everything else. So we have that capability, 100%. We have programs like the Escapes. That's number 5 bullet point there, where it's kind of off-season travel related to, you and I know it as shoulder season. November through to April kind of idea is the rationale. And you're saving a whole lot of money. You're avoiding the crowds, avoiding the rush. And it's a good time of the year to travel. So Escapes is another one that's really pushing forward, and we're adding more and more departures to the Escapes program. So that's another one that you may want to promote. In terms of the guided vacation experience, guided touring is fantastic, but it may not be for everyone. We also offer independent. For the independent-minded focused traveler, we have Independent by Globus. What we're doing there is giving them a week in London, let's say, or a week in Paris. You can do combined cities like Rome, Florence, and Venice with not the guided vacation experience with your tour director, coach driver, part of a large group. This is independent. So what they'll have is a half-day guided sightseeing in each of those cities, and then they're free to do whatever they like. Yep. So again, with the 12 different ways to tour, we feel that we have a product to really match anyone's needs, right? Mm-hmm. So when moving on, we love talking about everything that we include in our packages. And this remains true even with our Avalon product that we'll focus in on near the end of the presentation. But you're always talking about the VIP access. And what we mean by that is, actually, I have a slide devoted to it, so we'll highlight that a bit later. Freedom and flexibility, we love to incorporate that into our touring packages. At the end of the day, you're on vacation, you want to enjoy your vacation, and you want to feel like a local. What better way than to have that happy balance between guided and free time? So we try our best to do that. That local favorite, the LF that you see there on your screen, what we're talking about there is, again, diving deeper into the people, the culture, the history of that destination. We try to bring it to life with our local favorites. It's not uncommon to have a meal with a local family in these kind of scenarios. Or, for example, in Buenos Aires, we'll do a tango lesson. Whatever that city or country is known for, we'll try to dive deeper into that experience.
Cultural immersion kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then, Wi-Fi, I feel like Wi-Fi is a no-brainer for our company. But the more and more people that I'm speaking to, Wi-Fi, depending on the company, you have to buy a Wi-Fi package nowadays. I can tell you safely that we have Wi-Fi across the board with all our product, whether it be Globus, Cosmos, land product, or Avalon Waterways. Wi-Fi is always included. And what I mean by that is even on the actual motor coach. So, your clients are going to want to remain connected. We get it, sharing experiences and everything else. So there's Wi-Fi in the coach as well. So I feel that that's a huge thing, or a step in the right direction anyway with connectivity. And then obviously at the hotels, you have Wi-Fi. And then on board the Avalon that we'll highlight later, definitely Wi-Fi and strong Wi-Fi to boot. It's Starlink that we use on our river boats, our river ships. And it's basically an easier way to stay connected with family. I love showing this slide, Dylan, only because, the coach itself is our main source of transportation when we're talking the land product. But we're often forgetting like the height advantage alone of what these coaches have. For those of you on the call now, or I know it's being recorded, but you can attest to the fact that if you've ever been on a coach, even a hop on, hop off, the height advantage, right? Even if you're in the largest SUV, you're storming over the largest SUV. So what you're seeing compared to what someone trying to rent a car and experience it on their own at street level, it's night and day different. Our coach driver, as well as our tour director, they take pride in these motor coaches, and they're, cleaning those windows, making sure everything is nice. I remember being in Ireland one year and doing a video of what I was looking at, and then I panned down to what a car would be looking at. It was, again, night and day. They were looking at a guardrail while I was looking at the lush vegetation and rolling hills of Ireland. So, and then our coaches, we don't own them, we lease them. So there's another key ingredient. We're never riding around in old clunkers. These are brand new, usually 4 to 5 years. We give them back, get brand new equipment. Not uncommon to see hardwood flooring in the interior of these coaches. Again, Wi-Fi in North America and Europe. We try to limit our capacity as well, because that's a common question, post-pandemic. Are we going to be cooped up and very tight in the surrounding? Our coaches could accommodate up to 52 passengers, but we do our best to keep our averages to about 36. You have extremes on either end with any average, but we do try our best to keep it around 36. Further along with the tour directors, we feel that we have the best in the industry. I can say that confidently, actually. Our tour directors, when they start with us, they don't want to leave. In fact, they'll probably go through the brands, like they'll go Cosmos, Globus, probably end up as a cruise director, but they remain within the family. But our tour directors are truly the glue that holds everything together, right? You're going to have a good experience when you have a good tour director. Again, they take care of all the logistics, everything that you would have to do as a travel professional booking for your clients, all the nitty gritty that you'd have to plan. Why not let us take care of it? All the planning is taken care of for sure. We take it a step further even with our local guides. So as good as our tour directors are, our local guides, they take it that notch above. They live in that region. They live in that city. So the tour director kind of takes a break when a step-on guide comes on, and they take you into these areas that you and I would walk right past without even knowing was important or famous. Like there you see a walkway that we walk right past, but he's probably sharing a story about a famous historian, right, that has walked through that alleyway. And again, just making your clients feel like a local is the idea behind it and not a tourist. So when we think about the unhappy lines, we like to call these, here we are at the Vatican. And it's not even peak seasonality, judging by what these people are wearing. Some of them are in long sleeves, but it's not uncommon to have a lineup like that, right, to get into the Vatican. I can safely tell you that with the Globus or even the Cosmos product, we have, we like to call them the happier VIP lines and access into these areas. We actually go into the area before it opens to the general public. So your guests, our clients, are going to have that ability to go in. Let's say it opens at 9, we'll be there at 8:45 or even 8:30, just to give your clients the experience of, again, like a local, and having the Sistine Chapel and Vatican Museum at their disposal and only theirs. Yeah. So that VIP access, and that goes throughout our whole product lineup. Wherever there's huge lines, that we're bypassing them. I often say everything but the red carpet, but even sometimes we have a red carpet. So it's pretty cool the way we treat our groups.
Yeah, you get ahead of the crowds for the most part, right?
100%. So that leads us into our Avalon Waterways. Again, that was very brief on coach touring. We can always do another segment related to coach touring if you have clients that are interested. But without further ado, we'll get into Avalon Waterways and you watched from the opening video. Avalon came around 2004. I was actually with the company in 2004 when we launched Avalon. And since then, it's just been, we like to call it cruising elevated ever since. In 2011, that you would have watched through the video, we changed all our format of our ships. We renovated all our ships to have the Panorama Suites that I'll show you the why behind what we did there further in the presentation. But let's get right into it. We love having this slide up because, again, we have a live general audience here, and these are hard to win. These are cruise critic awards that we win year after year. Best River Cruise Company, you name it, we're winning it. And we're truly proud of it. Not often do companies toot their own horn, but I thought, why not put a little bit of a plug in there for our cruise critic awards that we win every year. Mm-hmm. And, Dylan, when you're thinking of river cruising, no question is a dumb question. You can see from this map, we go everywhere. You name the river, especially within our European cruising, we go to all the main rivers. So if you have clients that are interested in the Moselle, the Danube, the Rhine, whatever river they're interested in, we should have a product to match. Again, how we talked about earlier, it's not uncommon to do back-to-back. with all the locking systems along the way, these cruises are very interchangeable and connectable. And then having the Globus product backing it to go in a little bit early, stay a little bit later is very, very easy.
Mm-hmm.
Love this slide. This slide is really devoted to river cruising and why river cruising is so popular, and why you want to get on a river cruise. I love the opening point there is it's a floating boutique hotel, and that's truly the way I feel it is. I'm just back actually from the Danube, sailing on the Avalon Passion, one of our newer ships, and it is like a boutique, right? You unpack the one time and you're sailing along. You don't have to worry about rough waters. That's pretty much null and void with river cruising. It happened again this particular trip where someone came to me and said, "Are these electric? Are the engines electric?" I said, "We're not there yet. These are diesel engines. They're big diesel engines." But he felt that it was so smooth that he thought they were electric.
You don't hear the engines either.
You don't hear them at all. I'm telling you, you do not hear them. You often have to look at the shore to actually feel that you're moving. Oftentimes we just set sail and you don't even know you're moving. So it's very, very tranquil. And that's the case with rivers, right? Comparing to ocean. Very relaxed, very small ship ambiance, right? Here we're dealing with 106 seat capacity on our largest ship. To our smallest ship that we just launched in Portugal with 102 capacity. So very intimate. You get to know everyone on board. Unlike big ship cruising, where you'd be lucky if you met with one scene couple for the whole week. Here you're mingling and meeting with people from everywhere. I actually met people from Singapore this particular trip, New Zealand, Australia. Because we have allotments worldwide, it creates a really nice unique flavor to the demographic mix. Close to shore, I love that bullet point because you're docking and you're literally getting off the ship, which is very easy to get off the ship with that intimate setting. But you're getting off the ship and you're within walking distance to the main square or any type of shopping area. That's the beauty of the rivers, right? The rivers were there way before the roads were, always used for shipping and receiving. So the cities are kind of formulated and made around the river. I'm actually very happy to start watching the Olympics coming up on Friday because the Seine River in France is going to be a main focal point. I don't know if you read about that, Dylan, but the first time ever, the Olympic athletes are coming in by river. They're going to be coming in on boats.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're coming in instead of how the traditional getting in through the stadium. They're going to be coming in on boats. So I'm curious to see that and how they got to
make sure one of your ships are just in the background. Free advertising, right?
Strategic, right? We'll put one in the same. But yeah, definitely no seasickness. Very hard to get seasickness on board these ships because you don't feel the movement. All-inclusive value, we'll highlight that later. But really everything you'd expect on a ship you're getting. Meet like-minded travelers. We talked about it in close proximity. Great for solo travelers as well. We have oftentimes where we waive the single room supplement. So depending on the departure and the time frame of the year, you may have clients that are solo travelers. We could definitely help out with that for sure. This is our fleet. I know it's kind of hard to read through all of the ships below. New and exciting. We have the brand new one in 2024. Actually, you know what? It didn't even make the screen. It's the Alegria in Portugal. We're on the Douro that I'll highlight later. But that's the Alegria that's not even on there. I've been on the View 2020. Again, even our oldest at 2011, I believe, is still refurbished to have the look and feel of the suites, the Panorama Suites that we're offering. And I think I have images coming up of what your clients would experience. So not a bad view of the room, but I have a better one coming up here. So what we've done is we've had the bed angled toward the water for that open air setup, 7-foot by 11-foot opening, kind of Romeo Juliet style, no balcony. So we removed the balconies to make it part of the room. And I'll illustrate the why behind that a little bit later in the presentation.
So this image you're on right now, would this be like an upgraded room, or is this one of like almost a standard room?
So that's a great question. I'm going to show you the different categories on this slide here. That was a perfect intro into this. So the opening category is that one on the left. It's 172 square feet, and that's right at the water level. That window doesn't open, so you're 172 square feet at water level. Cruise people like to call that one the swan view, right? You're right at the water level. Nice room. I've stayed in that room at 172 square feet. It's very spacious still. But the room that I was showing earlier is a natural upgrade that we have two deck levels of the Panorama Suite. And that's your middle image there. So there we bump it up to 200 square feet. That additional 30 some odd square feet is noticeable and appreciated. And that angle of the bed we'll highlight later as to the why behind the angle, again, with the open air setting, removing the balcony. We also have the Royal Suites, and these are usually 2 per ship. I've yet to stay in a Royal Suite, but I have visited or viewed one. They are 300 square feet, huge. They have 2 TVs, living room, separate toilet room compared to shower. I personally believe maybe a little bit too big for river cruising. And there are 2 of them, so they do fill up quickly, and they're available to your clients if they're interested. But again, the Panorama Suite and the regular stateroom are truly sufficient for river cruising. I've experienced both. But here's the why. So here's the why behind it. A lot of people ask, hey, where's the balcony? What happened? Why did you remove it? So every river cruise company in the market, we're all limited and bound to the restrictions that, are given to us, right? The governing bodies related to how wide, how tall, how long, everything is grouped together as to when we're building, we have to follow those specs. Most important reason is that image that you see on the left of the ship coming through one of the locks with literally a foot on either end. So what we decided as a company back in 2011 was to remove the balcony, and you can see that shaded area that would have been a balcony in the past. We removed that and made it part of the room. And honestly, the feedback has been phenomenal because what people are saying is what we knew. They were never on the balcony. On river cruising, if you want the best view, you go to the top deck. And to get to the top deck is super easy and quick, right? So you just get up to the top deck whenever you want it. Yep. So the idea of removing the balcony, it created that extra space in the room. We didn't have to narrow the hallways or, something's got to give, right? When you have the balcony, always bear in mind something's got to give because of the width criteria. So we took it a step further and we angled the bed for more than one reason. The angling is kind of giving your clients that ability to see, this is going with the flow of the river with the angle. But if you look behind that wall, that slight angle of the bed, it creates a larger full-size shower right behind. So a larger bathroom and full-size shower just with that slight angle. It's funny, this last cruise that I was on, I was, talking with the group that I was hosting. And I asked them, what do you think about the bed? And one of them said, I went into the room and, my OCD kicked in and I wanted to straighten out the bed, but I realized it was part of the wall. And that's when I told them the why behind it. And they go, wow, that makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah. So
I was on a cruise in the beginning of October with one of your competitors that had the veranda. And same thing, that it doesn't seem that late in the season, but it was cold enough we were never on it. So if you had this, you would have had a few more square feet inside the room and a little bit more room to move around, right?
And that's totally it. Adding square footage in the room. And, our claim to fame is we're very modern, contemporary with the look and feel of our ships. So very clean lines. The furniture is almost condo style furniture. So the room feels that much larger and you can maneuver the furniture as well. It's not stationed. So you can kind of customize to your liking once you get into the room. Obviously, underneath the bed, you have for a suitcase. The beds could be divided if you want to spread out the bed to 2 twins or whatever they are, 2 full, I guess. I don't even know the terms, but you could spread out the bed for sure. Now, Avalon, what we're always known for as well is choice and variation to our itineraries, as well as the excursions that we're offering. So when I talked about earlier being an all-inclusive type value, we truly are. Your clients pay one price and they're going to get pretty much everything included. And we're going to highlight the meals and entertainment and everything else. But when it comes to excursions, everything is included. There may be the odd excursion where you're incorporating a dinner with a theater or a dinner with a show, that kind of thing. Those you pay for sure. However, on a day-to-day basis, you can have 1 to 2 excursions that are always included. With your choice. So it really depends on the client and what they're looking to do. If they're looking for that classic kind of traditional canal cruising, the city walks, inside visits, we have it. We also have active. We were talking about the Olympics earlier. This is not Olympic athlete active, but we do have active, guided biking, guided touring, hiking, you name it. We have an adventure host on board that could wake up early, do some sunrise yoga. Really no question is a dumb question with the adventure hosts. They could accommodate and help out, even taking out one of the bikes. We have usually about 15 bikes on board. Just sign them out like you would a book at front desk and take it out with the helmet and you're good to go. Discovery is more about, the art exhibits, maybe, sampling or tasting. I've been on a wine lovers cruise. I know we were speaking earlier, Dylan, about beer lovers cruises. We have the whole gamut. When it comes to river cruising, really no question is a dumb question for sure. But again, it's all about choice and variation. In fact, the choice excursions did so well that we've incorporated into our land product as well with choice touring with Globus. Same idea, not out of pocket. They're included, just giving them choice as to what they want to do.
I don't know if you're going to talk about this after in your presentation, but say you're going through wine country and you pick up a couple nice bottles of wine. Are you allowed to bring those back on board with you, or nicer beers, or?
Yeah, you definitely are. I'm glad you brought that up. Do I bring it up? I may bring it up later, but yeah, you can definitely bring it on board. If you're drinking it in your room, we don't charge a corkage fee at all. However, if you want to do it in common area like top deck or what have you, there's a small amount you pay in euro to be able to drink it in the common areas. But in your room, 100%, you bring it on board. And, we're all about bringing in local wines. So why not talk about it now? Beer and wine is included with lunch and dinner, and we often have local to the region that you're visiting is what we do with the wine. So yeah, but to answer your question, 100%, you could bring it on board.
Perfect.
So yeah, here we talk about, staying longer, extending your stay. It's not uncommon place to kind of do before and after. I actually encourage at least one pre-night before going on. I've done it both ways. I've done it where you go in the day of. The day of, there's nothing happening until you set sail, and it's usually 5 p.m. To give you a guideline. But to have that additional day pre-night ahead of time, that's what I did this time around. I had one night in Budapest before getting on my Danube cruise, and I found that it was much better for climatizing, getting rid of the jet lag, what have you. You don't feel rushed, but again, it's capable. You're capable of doing it day of. We just recommend a pre-night. But here we have like the capabilities of doing like an add-on or extension, either beginning or end. So Amsterdam, Paris or London, maybe in the end, Lake Como region. Maybe you get to see George Clooney giving you a wave there in Lake Como. But you can do whatever you like. Some of our clients, they look at a 7-day cruise and think it's a little bit too short, and they do just want to extend. Know that we're available. Well, Dylan, you're available to help them book that.
Oh yeah.
And then, with Avalon, it's all the little things, right? The little benefits and the little things that we add into the room that I feel go a long way. L'Occitane product in the bathroom or in the washroom is just fantastic. All the lotions, shampoos, conditioners, they're all L'Occitane. I live here in Etobicoke, and to go to Sherway and try to buy this product, it's not cheap, but you get spoiled when you're on the ship. And then we have nightly turn down service. So what happens is when the guests are going in for dinner, our hotel staff are going in and fluffing up the pillows, making the beds, cleaning up the room, just like you were in a hotel, basically. Very, very easy. And then little things that I like to throw in here when we're looking at this slide is If your opening night you didn't like the way the mattress felt, let's say it was too hard or too soft, no problem. We could change the topper to a firmer or softer mattress. We can also do the pillows, right? So if the pillow is not to your liking, yeah, we can switch that up. Again, all the little things, right, that I feel go a long way.
I have a couple clients who are actually, that's a big thing for them, because you need to be rested while you're on your trip, right? So all you got to do is ask, and I guess your guys will help out.
Yeah, this is it for sure. I've never had a problem. Like, I've never had to ask. I feel it was just right. But yeah, if you have clients that are interested in feeling the difference anyway, then we can have that change for them. And then, in terms of routines, if they're, on a fitness routine or what have you, we do have a small fitness center on board all of our ships, along with a hot tub on the top deck. But the fitness center is there 24 hours. They can go in and do their workout and keep with their regimen and routine. Flex signing, we like to talk about the different ways of dining with us on Avalon. We have surveys that are filled out after cruising, and 9 times out of 10, food is rated number one. Even though they're in these beautiful destinations, we have these beautiful ships, all they talk about and rant and rave about is the food. Chef-inspired cuisine. We actually have the Rank brothers, 2 executive chefs that created our menu. We call it Avalon Fresh. Not uncommon to have that farm-to-plate type of local cuisine. So whenever you're in a specific region and they're known for a particular dish, it's going to be on the menu for dinner, probably even for lunch. A good example, we were in Austria, and obviously schnitzel is huge. So we had that for dinner, and that I think pretty much everyone had the schnitzel for dinner that particular night. But what we talk about with flex signing is really up to the client as to where they want to eat. So we have the different venues. So we have the Panorama dining room. That's on the lower berth, or the lower part of the ship. We have the Panorama Bistro, which is in the front lounge of the ship. And what we do there is we have the lighter alternative to a heavy sit-down dinner. So if your clients want to have dinner, in the Panorama dining room, no problem. But if they want to have a lighter dinner, everything that's served in the Panorama Bistro, everything that's served in the dining room is served in the bistro, but on a smaller scale, kind of samples of each of the items. So it really depends. I've done one night on this past cruise where I did the sample, and I liked it, the lighter dinner, because you are eating a lot, breakfast, lunch, and dinner on board the ship. And these are full out courses, right? So why not go a little bit lighter one of the days? Sky Grill, I've yet to experience, unfortunately, because I've either gone in too cold of seasonality where we don't have it open. This particular time was the opposite. It was so hot that we could not get that Sky Grill going. It's what it is. It's on the top deck and kind of barbecue style. But we would have been the barbecue. Like, it was so hot. It was way too hot in these countries that we were visiting on the Danube. So I've yet to experience the Sky Grill, but seasonal available. And then room service. So if you want to have breakfast in bed, no problem. There's a tag in your room, and you just check off what you want. You put as your door knocker, and they'll bring you breakfast in bed the following morning. So that's another alternative. The last image, I kind of had the experience. The last image to your right is a picnic style. So let's say hypothetically, you're not going to be back for lunch on board the ship. It's a rarity. It doesn't happen often, because normally the sightseeing happens in the morning, come back for lunch, and then maybe another sightseeing in the afternoon. But anyway, let's say you're not going to be back. We can box you a lunch. So they do these packed lunches. It wouldn't be as pretty as that basket. In fact, the way I experienced it, it was a little backpack that they gave me, because we were actually riding our bikes along the shore, 30 kilometers worth along the shore while the ship was sailing. And I have some cool video of that. And anyway, so we had our lunch in our little backpack that they prearranged before we hit the road. So yeah, those are all the different ways of eating with us. There's that Avalon Fresh, the Flair. And here's another added benefit. So not only do you have complimentary beer and wine and sparkling beverages like soft drinks and everything with all the meal, well, breakfast, lunch. Sorry, not breakfast, unless you wanted maybe
Almost.
a little bit for breakfast, but lunch and dinner, definitely, beer and wine. But now we're also including complimentary on us is happy hour is now on us. So a couple years back, we had happy hour. We've always had happy hour. It's between 5:45 and 6:45, where usually the cocktails were half price. Now there are complimentary cocktails. So we have a list of different cocktails. We have cocktail of the day kind of thing. And they're all included. This is when the port talk is happening. So every day, 5:45 to 6:45, the cruise director is speaking about the following day and all the excursions and all the things that we're sailing through. So beautiful time frame. Everyone's mingling in the front lounge. I actually was a little bit cautious, free cocktails. How is this going to work? Is there going to be a lineup at the bar? In fact, it's the complete opposite. You sit and the wait staff is coming around serving you. You can have 2 to 3 drinks easily within the hour with all the wait staff that comes around. Or if you wanted more, just stand at the bar. But anyway, they're included. Yeah.
And then it continues on into dinner right after that. So.
Yeah. You're stumbling into dinner right after that. The doors open usually at 7 p.m. But I'm glad you brought that up because it's open seating, right? So you don't have to rush to get down there right at 7 when the doors open. You go at your leisure when you want to have your dinner. And very casual affair, because that's another question that comes up time and time again. How do I dress for the dinners, what have you? I always say, look, for the gentlemen, long pants for the dining room and I guess closed toe shoes. But other than that, you're on vacation, right? So you dress how you would on vacation, including for breakfast and lunch. You could be wearing shorts in the dining rooms, really just for the dinners, typical to like a resort type setting where not that they frown upon it, but they do not like the shorts and sandals kind of approach. But other than that, very casual. If they wanted to dress up for one of the nights, it'd be the captain's dinner, maybe, let's say the farewell dinner, depending on the cruise setup. It's really just one that some people dress up a little bit more. But again, other than that, it's very casual.
Yep.
There's a view of the front lounge. And this view is kind of, I'd say not even half of the lounge. It should have been taken further back because these front lounges could accommodate, I'll just keep it there for a second, could accommodate for everybody on board. So you can imagine that doesn't look like 160 seating. So it's definitely a lot larger than this. And this is where the port talk and everything happens and the cocktail happy hour. And then the rear of the ship, the back lounge, is usually my hangout. This is open 24 hours a day. And we do sweet and savory treats that are replenished in that box there that you can see. Straight ahead is the coffee machine that is like a beast of a coffee machine. I'm a bit of a coffee snob and I love my coffee. This is grinding fresh espresso, cappuccino, latte, teas, whatever suits your fancy, that machine will make. Very high-end machine. And if this picture was taken a little bit further back, you would see the image of a water refilling station. So we encourage people to bring their own water bottles on board and, less plastic and whatnot. So you refill your water there. And this water station has it all. It has bubbly water, flat water, flavored water. There's an ice machine right beside the coffee maker there too. So anyways, refreshing station to say the least. And we have another one near the dining room, but that one's only flat water or bubbly water, not the flavored water. But again, we encourage that. Just bring your own water bottle and do it that way. If you happen to forget your water bottle, you have 2 options. You can buy one. We have a little souvenir shop. You can buy one of our Avalon, or we can actually loan you one. They're not as nice as the souvenir one, but we have the stainless steel water bottles if you happen to forget. But most people are traveling with water bottles nowadays. So
I like that. Less plastics.
Yeah, less.
I really like that for cruising and even on the big ships too. Bring a reusable water bottle. There's a lot of places on board where you can just fill up.
Yeah, that's totally it. That's the rationale behind it. And then complimentary Wi-Fi, how we talked about, I feel that it is a no-brainer, but judging by, the other cruise lines that you have to buy Wi-Fi packages, I feel like we have to talk about it. So it is there, Starlink, and very, very strong connectivity. I've done meetings on board. We've had conferences on board the ship and very, very strong Wi-Fi. So. And then the possibilities are endless. So we briefly chatted about the different themes and different special cruise of interest. We have these throughout the course of the year. We have different departures that will have different flavors, so to speak. Like I mentioned, last October, I did a wine lovers cruise. To be honest, I was so busy. I didn't even know I was on a wine lovers cruise until I got on, and I was pleasantly surprised, with the sommelier going over the wine pairing and sampling before dinner. It was just really, really nice. That cocktail hour was kind of trumped by the the wine tasting with that particular cruise, but it was really well done. And then here we talked about it, but you have the adventure hosts right in the middle there. These guys are at your beck and call depending on what you want to do. We actually have cornhole now on the top deck, so if you want to have a little cornhole challenge, I did that a lot this particular trip. I did all the hikes, so I like to get up at the citadels, that left view there. I think that's Budapest. It's got to be Budapest, but you get good views, right, of the city from the top. But again, you can do it at your own pace. You do your own thing if you wanted to, but if you wanted to hang out with the adventure hosts, they're always available. We encourage you to get the Avalon Go app as well. Once you're booked, you have a booking reference number. You log into the Avalon Go app, and this gives you all the up-to-date information, everything you need to know about your particular cruise. Love this image because this it sums it up. River cruising in a nutshell. When you look at this image, you get off the ship, you're literally walking into a nice medieval town. Again, everything seems to be angled toward the water. Castle up top there. It's just a beautiful way to experience Europe. Europe in general. Europe is where we own our ships, and these are our babies. But I think, Dylan, you mentioned it earlier with the exotic program. We also have exotic program doing the Mekong, Amazon, Galapagos, and Egypt on the Nile. Here we don't own the ships. We actually charter them. So the look and feel is Avalon, but it's actually, not our own ships like in Europe. But again, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the exotic program because it's getting more and more popular for sure. Mekong in particular. And then I think I let it out a little bit earlier, but new for 2024 is the Douro. So the Douro Valley experience in Portugal. When I tell you it's gone gangbusters, it truly has gone gangbusters. We built this ship specific for the Douro, the Alegria. It's 7 overnight, Porto to Porto. We're completely sold out for 2024. And
they're very, very popular right now. People are asking about it.
Completely sold out. And 2025 is not far behind. Like we're maybe 80% capacity. So space is filling up quickly with Portugal. We're very happy about that. The Alegria, again, is one of our smallest ships. It is our smallest ship, 102 capacity. This one is unique where we actually have a swimming pool in the top deck as comparing to all our other ships where we have a hot tub. This one's a swimming pool. I heard that in Portugal, that's the thing. So know that your guests would have that. And then new for 2025, moving in, we have spoke about the Seine River. So we've always been on the Seine and the Rhone in France, but now we're going to be doing Bordeaux. So we'll be in the Bordeaux region of France. So if you have those wine lovers on the call, or I know it's being recorded, but wine lovers, this is a wine lover's dream, right? The Bordeaux region. 7 overnights, Bordeaux. And again, always with the capability of extending, right? I think this one in itself, along with Portugal, actually, not that it requires, but you almost do want to extend into France and do your own thing, or maybe combine it with another experience. So you can go anywhere from that 7 overnight to a 15 to maybe a 22-day journey. It really depends on your vacation time, or you might be retired and you just want to enjoy. Go for it. We have all that capability for you. These we love to kind of show off. So every time you're either on a land product with Globus or Cosmos or on a river cruise with Avalon, we offer these Whisper audio headsets where it's a game changer related to not having to huddle around the local guide or the cruise director whenever you're, walking through these quaint little towns and villages. The local guide doesn't have to yell. everything is live commentary. It's not pre-recorded, but you have a little earpiece and you hear the full commentary. You just got to tap into the right station. And again, it's just night and day different. You see the tours that are going on without this, and everyone's rushing. They're trying to huddle behind the local guide.
Yeah.
Then you get people that hear the English language being spoken, and they tap in and they try, without paying, they're part of your group all of a sudden. So this is way better. It saves the voices of our cruise director and local guides as well. But game changer for sure.
It's huge too. Like the cruise director, or whoever it is, the tour director is not yelling inside of churches and like speak at a normal voice and just give a story about what's going on.
I'm actually happy you brought that up because, in the churches and cathedrals, it's frowned upon. You don't want to be talking too loud. So they can almost bring it down to a whisper and still give you that full commentary. And it's definitely beneficial in the churches and cathedrals. Yeah. I always leave off with, huge promotions, really too many to talk about today. But Dylan is your go-to person, right? Your travel professional that's more than willing and able to help you with all of them. So at time of booking, we would go over all of that with Dylan when you're ready to book. But yeah, there are quite a few through the course of the year. We pretty much have monthly promotions. And it's not like one is better than the other. They're just unique in their own way when we do the promotional campaigns. But know that there are quite a few on the market. So we're here to help you with that. And thank you. Thank you for your time. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Dylan, if you had any other questions that came top of mind as we were going through that, I'm all ears.
I think you went through it pretty good. Just so everyone knows. So Avalon, so I'm starting a monthly newsletter. So I'm going to make sure probably monthly I'll be putting stuff in about Avalon. So I'll be trying to keep people up to date with the current deals and promotions that are out there. Also, to the point that if you're interested in maybe doing something like this next year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, just let me know, because then I can keep you in my database and I at least say, hey, by the way, I know you're a solo cruiser who wants to do Christmas. By the way, 2026 just came for sale. I can let people know that and then work with you to get you on the proper ship that fits your needs, right? But yeah, Maritza, that was great. It's very thorough, which is what a lot of clients kind of like. So
thank you.
People can go onto your website, they can contact me, and we can just get prices and get things going. One question I always get to is flights. Do you guys help out with flights at all?
We do. Yeah, we do. And that's actually one of the common questions. So what we do, we always give the option. So you can book cruise only or cruise and air included. We deal with all the scheduled carriers, your big guys like Delta, Air France, KLM, British Airways. Mm-hmm. Who knows, Dylan, maybe through the booking process, you may be able to find air for less than what we're offering, So what I often say is you can book it complete. There's always a little bit of an option period or window. We usually give about 72 hours at time of booking with no obligation. And there you can book it complete, book it air and land. And then maybe in the in-between time, Dylan can look into air on your own. Yep. But we always give that option. And we always give that option even for the reason that your clients may have accumulated points, over the years that they may want to utilize. Yep. So in those cases, you book your air separate, book the land or cruise on our end, and we're good to go.
Okay. And if we do book the air with Avalon, Globus, do you guys help it with transfers at all? Or is that something I would be setting up for the client?
We do. Great point. So with an air-inclusive package, air and land or air and cruise, complimentary transfers. We pick you up at the airport. We take you from the disembarkation point to the airport at the end, providing that you're going on the brochure dates. So without deviation, no problem. We're doing all of that for you. When you're adding, how we talked about adding before and after that, unfortunately, sometimes you can buy the transfer. We could sell you that transfer, but other times you're just independent from it altogether. Yep. But air inclusive on brochure dates, they're complimentary.
Yeah, I make sure I take care of my clients, so that's good. So if they do decide to book the flights with you, it's kind of a no-brainer. Just you fly in, you guys pick them up at the airport. Either you're doing the pre-cruise tour or not, or if not, they're taking you right to the ship and then gone. Yeah, I know I've done that in Europe before, where it's I bought the flights with the river cruise company, and it was literally waited a couple hours, got on the bus, went to the airport, flew home, and then we were done. So there's no thinking about it. There's no Ubers, no taxis. And it's just more flawless, more streamlined, right?
Agreed.
So. Yeah, man. I think that's good for now. I'd like to thank you very much because a lot of the information is great. So again, if anyone has any information, please reach out to me, Dylan at h2oescapes.ca. We also have a website, www.h2oescapes.ca. Again, thank you, Maurizio, and look forward to talking with you and having you back in the future for more information and help out potential clients.
For sure. Thank you so much for having me, Dylan. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm just going to end the conversation now.